Hello, fellow cyborgs, and welcome to National Poetry Month! I know it's halfway over, but you do your best, I guess. Today I'm going to be doing the National Poetry Month tag. This was created by Grace Libby, and I was tagged by Acacia Ives. I will link both of their videos down below. Question number 1. Do you like to read poetry? No, not really, no. Question number 2, who is your favorite poet? In recent months, my favorite poet has turned out to be Margaret Atwood. I've read 2 of her collections, not all of this all the way yet, but I should really get started on that because she's easy to read. I am dearly fond of John Donne and his love poems. There's one specifically in here, I think it's called Song Something. Of course I didn't mark it because I was just not on my game when I was 18, but I really adore this collection, and you know what? I need to reread it. That should happen, like, today. And I'm also incredibly fond of Charles Baudelaire, who was a French poet at the turn of the 20th century, and he wrote all sorts of gothy, decay, death, love, I hate you sort of poems, and I actually wrote a term paper on him, so I have very fond memories of him, and I've got tons of stuff that's been highlighted in here. You can barely see, but just trust me, there's tons of highlighty stuff in there because, oh, Baudelaire. Man after my own heart, my own gothy heart. Question 3, what is your favorite book of poetry? Go-to answer is Life on Mars by Tracy K. Smith. This was my favorite poetry collection of 2015, though I have some favorites around me that I haven't reread in a while, so I'll have to reread those and see if this still stands the test of time, but this would be my go-to answer. Question 4, is there a specific style or type of poetry that you like best? I really love shorter length poems, ones that fit on 1 page in length, mostly because it's annoying when I'm reading them aloud to think a poem has ended and I turn the page and there's more. It kind of messes up the reading experience. I have this small collection of poems by Edna St. Vincent Millay, and I've been meaning to read this for forever because I did a term paper on her and I really love her poetry, but the first poem in this is 8 pages long and I just can't get past it. And I know you guys are going, Amanda, just skip the first poem. No big deal. Go back to it when you feel like it. But I want to read this in order because I'm OCD like that. So yeah, shorter poems are my favorite. I really love haiku, as you probably could tell from my book haikus in my book review videos. And I also love poetry that has beautiful imagery and puts words together in ways I didn't think it would be possible. Question number 5, do you write poetry? You can check out some 10-year-old poetry in all of my Angsty Me Reads videos because that's what those are about, reading 10-year-old poetry. I also kind of dabble sometimes, and if you want to check out the sort of stuff that I'm pumping out for fun these days, check my Goodreads, because right now I am reading and completing the Poem Your Heart Out poetry collection and workbook, where they give you daily prompts all through the month of April to get you to write poetry. 30 poems in a month. So I'm doing that, and if you want to see the sort of stuff I've been writing very recently, then please go check that out on my Goodreads. Question 6, have you ever attended a poetry reading? Yes, I have attended a poetry reading for a college course. I think I took 20th century poetry, if I remember correctly. And so I had to attend it, and it was very nice. I didn't buy any of the books that the poets read from because I was at university and very cheap. I regret that, however. And also, I performed in a poetry reading at one point. It was an extra credit participation mark for one of my classes senior year, and I needed the extra credit. So we went to one of the local senior citizens communities and sat around in this auditorium, and the 12 of us or whatever read poetry, and yeah, I actually still have the poem. Would you like me to read it to you? Okay, I heard a resounding yes in my mind. So I'm going to be reading this from my computer screen, so I apologize for not making awkward eye contact. And this was co-created between myself and my best friend. This was created in 2008, and it's ridiculous, so here we go, get ready. This is called Hamster Tree. Oh, woe is me. The tree is piddling on my eyebrow hair. Smiling hypocrites bobbing for apples in a bag, macaroni and ghosts careening down a sewage pipe, and stairwells and floorboards at high noon drinking tea, because Pop-Tarts are the way to live, and cotton swabs are death. What rhymes with 8 besides buffalo and orange? Silent grasses in a gramophone speak in pubescent voices to a bowl of fruit. Final Fantasy is causing the twitches. He's a complicated kind of guy, watching the laughing gulls eat stickless lollipops and escaping to juvenile bliss under a bright pink umbrella. After that, there were refreshments and snacks, and of course I made a beeline for the mini cupcake, shoved one in my face right before a lovely lady came up to me and said, "Have you looked into haikus?" And I had to do the awkward shove the food to the side of your mouth and pretend you're not a pig while you talk with your mouth full. So I looked into haikus. And I think about her when I think about that memory, which is seldom because it's very cringeworthy. Question 7. Will you be participating in the Poem in Your Pocket Day, which is the 21st of April? I do not intend to because it requires social interaction. In case you didn't know, Poem in Your Pocket Day is the idea that you take a poem and you keep it in your pocket, and throughout the day, whenever you can, you talk about it with people. I don't talk to people. So that's not going to be happening. Maybe in my heart and soul, the tiny sliver of me that is extroverted will participate, but in actuality, introverted me will not be doing that. Question 8, why do you think poetry is important? I think poetry somehow gets to something more innately human and emotive than fiction or other forms of art. I think that poetry allows people to express themselves without constraint because poetry comes in so many different forms and styles. For myself, I know that poetry was important to me in high school when I was depressed and angsty and not having an easy time of it. It really helped me work through things and not kill people or myself at that time. So it's important to my survival, or it has been important to my survival in the very basest sense. And I continue to find so much joy in poetry, a little bit of snobbishness because I'm reading poetry and I'm enjoying it, me. But that's because I'm secretly a jerk face. But just so much enjoyment, relaxation, discovering the language, discovering emotions, discovering how beautiful and wonderful words can be, even the simple ones you use day to day if they're smashed together in the correct way. Question number 9, who do you tag? I would like to tag Sophie from Portal in the Pages, Victoria from A Hermit's Progress, Marie Berg, and Meryl from A Blackbird's Books. If any of you don't read poetry and don't want to do this, no big deal. But if you feel like you want to do this, then I would love to see your answers. So thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed hearing my experiences and opinions about poetry and everything that surrounds it. Until next time, I hope that you do pick up some poetry and continue to be lovely. Question 7. Will you be participating in your pocket?